tell us what workplaces can do to support working moms.
Well, here's a personal example that I can give you is that I was at a point in my career and home life where we were when I had my second daughter, and it was a hard balance, right? There, as we talked earlier, of finding that balance, there was no balance. And especially working in a television newsroom where you're working crazy hours regardless, it's just kind of part of the nature. But I didn't want to give up my job, but I knew something had to change. So, and there was another colleague of mine who was kind of in that same exact boat. She was getting ready to have her first child. And she was the same thing. She still wanted to work, but she didn't want to work full time. And so we hatched a plan to see if we could come up with doing a job share. And in the news industry and in most industries, quite honestly, there isn't that, right? You don't have a good system in place for there to be job shares. But we hatched the plan, we pitched it, and our news director approved it, said yes, which we were thrilled. We were, quite honestly, I will say, a little surprised. We didn't know if it was going to happen or not. Later on, our HR person who was helping us and helping, advocate for us, said, here's what I told him. And it was a male employee. It was a male boss. So sometimes, there are pros and cons when it comes to gender as well, too. She said, I can tell you this, if you value these two women as employees and you want to keep them, I would give them a chance to do this, because I guarantee you, if you say no to this, you're going to lose them. So if you don't want to lose them as employees, then I would suggest that you try and see how you can make it work. So it was approved, and it worked beautifully for 5.5 years, something like that. We did a job share, because I will tell you what, because they gave us that chance and allowed us to do this and charted new territory and charted this brand new, we worked so much harder for them than I think we would have otherwise. Because as you were saying, like that balance of, there's never a perfect balance, but being able to not have to be on and not have to be physically in the newsroom or physically out on a story or physically traveling for whatever it is that we're working on in the news industry back then, I will say, like, made all of the difference and allowed me to eventually go back to work full time there. So I went from working full-time, working part-time as a job share, my job share partner leaving, me staying on part-time, and then ultimately going back full-time. And that was because I was invested in that company that invested in me.
Wonderful. I do see moms can be so creative. You came up with this creative plan, and then you found yourself a big advocate in a person who had the decision-making power.
100%.
Wonderful. Thanks, Liza.